This is Midrash Tanchuma, Parshat Ki Teitzei, entitled Amaleik, the psychological origins of the self-hating Jew. So we're all familiar with the famous Midrash based on the words Asher Karcha B'derech that Rashi brings that from the Midrash Tanchuma. That Karcha comes from the word cold, and the Amaleik was able to sort of pave the way for anti-Semitism, even though the Jews had seemed invincible after coming out of Egypt with all those miracles happening and the overt miracles of God. Who would overt protection of God? Who would have started up with them? And yet they attacked us. And the famous Midrash brings the example. It's like diving into a scolding hot bathtub. It's very, very painful, but you cooled it down for the next person. So they, again, paved the way for other people to attack us. But there's a lesser known Midrash here that really brings something quite extraordinary. It says, of course, that the Amaleik attacked us, the Nechashalim, those laggards behind, they did manage to attack and kill some Jews before the war started in force. And there's something disgusting recorded in the Midrash that the Amaleik did, is that they mutilated the bodies of those Jews. They actually took the Brit Milah, they took the organ that was circumcised and threw it up to Hashem. And they used these following words. They said, Bazeh b'charta, tol locha masha b'charta. This is what you chose. You chose a nation that circumcises. You chose that this organ be circumcised. Here, they threw it up to God and said, here, take it back. And what is this? This is a vicious anti-God act. And of course, one thing about Amaleik always is clear and consistent. There is no space between anti-God and anti-Semitism. It's one and the same. It's the hatred. The hatred of Jews come from the hatred of God and the morality that the Jews bring upon the earth. So now the Midrash says something astounding. It says that this vicious anti-God behavior manifests itself many, many years later, but not in other nations, but in the Jewish nation itself. And there is a passage in Yechezkel, chapter 8, verse 16, which talks about 25 people who are standing worshiping the sun in the Beit HaMikdash with their backs towards the Kodesh Kodashim, and they are defecating, showing their hatred to God, at the same time worshiping the sun. Why would it come out? Why would it manifest itself in this way? Is it possible that, in some sense, the Jewish people themselves come to believe anti-Semites and say, if there's such vicious hatred against us, there must be some truth to it. We must actually hate ourselves. If you Google self-hating Jew, you look in Wikipedia, there's a whole bunch of historians who actually propose this very psychological construct. We internalize elements of the anti-Semitic discourse. One of them says, self-hatred is a neurotic reaction to the impact of anti-Semitism by Jews accepting, expressing, even exaggerating the basic assumptions of the anti-Semite. The only silver lining to this is that the Torah is replete with great acts of Jewish heroism and self-sacrifice. And in fact, every Jewish family has episodes that were retold of great acts of heroism, self-sacrifice throughout the ages, and escapes from different places where Jews were oppressed. That too becomes part of the DNA of a Jew and lends us courage and faith at just the times when it's needed. Have a great Shabbos.